prior to now, no one really understands or sees how much work goes into a Jag to make it a reality.
We're going to stay with Thriller right now. This boat is number 77. This is a 35-foot white Jaguar Cat, powered by twin 750 horsepower Merc Cruiser inboards with Merc Cruiser outdrive. This boat is owned by Jaguar Marine from Pembroke Park, Florida. Your driver of record is John Clarke, who is doing the throttling today, and his driver is Eddie Martinez from Miami Beach, Florida. So the crew of John Clarke and Martinez, with a lot of experience in racing together for many years.
When I was a high school wrestler, I had the opportunity to go to Iowa wrestling camp. And my father always put me in the hardest stuff. And when you go to the Iowa wrestling room, it says, outwork them all, period. You may not be as talented, you may not be as big, you may not be as strong, but if you're willing to work harder, you'll get to the top. But just that idea that, you know, you can actually outwork everyone. Like, they will gas out, and fighting's the same way. You may tank the first 2 rounds, but there's 3 rounds to get it back. And same thing, you know, you might lose the first 2 races of the year, but there's 10 races for a reason back then, you know. So the concept that you can outwork everyone, you know, and that Dan Gable Iowa wrestling mantra, you know, we used it when I graduated. All the coaches, all the kids that I coached, and brought it into fighting. Like, I may not be the most talented, but if I'm willing to wake up earlier and I'm willing to stay up later, I'm going to get there too, you know. So that's always translated. So I usually design 3-dimensionally. So I'm pulling battens and what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And I can kind of see it done already, but the customers are always like, they always flip out when we're starting to do the hard top and the last pieces. I'm like, hey, I've seen this months ago. Like, this is what I was telling you. Like, you got to be able to draw it. So now I'm like, Brad, can you draw this? Like, oh yeah, boom. So we work so well together. But I never had that ability. Like, I was always like, it's coming, don't worry. Like, you'll see it now with his ability for CAD, you know.
And so he kind of handles the CAD. You give him your vision, and he kind of.
You know, it's time away from your family. It's time away from your friends. It's all those hours nobody sees, the forgotten hours. Everyone sees you take the bows at the show, and they have no idea how you got there. So, I mean, that's what's been the funnest, is that, you know, prior to now, no one really understands or sees how much work goes into a Jag to make it a reality. And that's the only thing we have on anyone, is that we're willing to work harder and do the things they're not doing. And in fighting, it was no different. Family goes beyond blood, you know. VP of our company is family to me. You know, owner of Nova, family. Owner of Backwater Cat, family. So my family's much larger than my 7. You know, I'm one of 7 siblings. Much larger than my own parents. You know, my kids, my wife, all of it. It's like anybody that's willing to expose their heart to me, I'm willing to expose my heart to them. And I think that's where it is. Like, I even treat our customers like family. I know they're going to miss it. I know this is going to be the most influential 6 to 8 months of their life. They're building their boat. But those guys are my closest family because I'm with them the longest. You know, if you're doing an R&D project, it could be 2 years. You know, we don't test boats on the backs of clients. We test them in-house with family first. So the concept of family, it's ingrained in me. It comes from my dad. And, you know, when you're building a boat for your father to go out there and race, and, you know, you've seen him flip, you've seen him walk away from it several times. Watch the boats you build run 180 mile an hour. Then you'll know why we're such sticklers about certain things.
From beautiful Key West, Florida, Freeze Frame Video is proud to present the 1987 APBA World Championships. Hello again, Shelly Kahn, speaking to you on behalf of Jeff Girardi and the entire Freeze Frame Video Sports production staff, welcoming you to beautiful Key West, Florida for the 1987 World Championships. We're very excited about this year's competition. Thriller on the outside, overtaking Wildcat right now. The This Merc Cruiser inboard's doing a great job. And here comes Thriller making a strong challenge to the lead being held by ACR Systems right now. Systems in first place with about a 100-yard lead over the Thriller race team. 77. This is a 35-foot white Jaguar Cat, powered by twin 750 horsepower Merc Cruiser inboards with Merc Cruiser outdrive. Systems in first. Thriller maintaining second place, closing hard. He's coming right up now on him, making his move. Putting it down and definitely trying to take him here, and he is passing Systems. Thriller, very aggressive move right here out in the open seas. Thriller now becomes your leader. ACR Spirits hanging in second place. ACR Systems, that is, in second. Spirit
Structural integrity is everything. You know, you're only as good as your last boat. And canine, you're only as good as your last canine search. You know, in fighting, you're only as good as your last fight. Like, people don't remember past that. You can build a world champion, fastest boat in the world, blah, blah, blah. If your latest boat falls apart and doesn't meet the fit and finish, that's what you're remembered by. So I think it's so important to keep challenging yourself. I want to be the best boat builder in the world, and I've said it publicly many times. And the only way that happens is to challenge myself and to respect the competition. And Jaguar's never really been in the public eye that much. It's been that racing legacy. So I think to stay on top of your game, you know, to honor your lifetime warranty, your lifetime commitment. The hulls have been tested at speeds that they're never running as pleasure boats. But I've seen boats come apart that should not have come apart. Challenges you to learn what the hell happened in that particular case. How are you doing things that's not happening and keep doing them? Or how do you adjust? You know? You can do certain things to reinforce your hulls. But the last thing a customer wants to do is drop their heart and soul into a project. Forget about the money, because at the end of the day, money's money. But when the person has their heart and soul into something, they're finally to the point where they get to build their dream boat. And you shit the bed because you want to cut a corner or you want to have a little more profit. You're testing on their wallet. You don't know if it's going to work. You know, we know where that threshold is. We've crossed it. I know I sleep well at night because we've tested these things beyond what anybody's going to push them to. And if you've run the boat at twice the speed that it's going to run as a pleasure boat, you've gone well beyond what any of our competitors know. And then people are like, oh, why in boats do we constantly hit the rev limiters on our power? When realistically, you should be running it like a car. You should have an optimum RPM range that you don't push past. And if you do that, then your customers are happy. Integrity goes beyond a word. You know, you got to show it. Like, it's show your structural integrity in your boat. So Thriller's 32 years old. I'll race it tomorrow. I would race that boat tomorrow. It's just, I'll probably come out with something new by then.